SD-WAN requires a complete paradigm shift. There are so many new capabilities. We're taking control plane and we're giving control back to the customers in many cases. So we're looking at unified policies and different constructs that didn't exist in the traditional environment. And therefore, as you look at the different roles within Cisco as well as our partner organizations, you have pre-sales, you have post-sales, and typically there are engineering-led motions that have to happen. So there's demonstration of capability that has to take place on the pre-sale side. We're setting the proper expectations with the customer as we help them to learn and experience and validate the overall offerings, become familiar with these new constructs. And then the implementation arm has to be in a position to be able to then do modeling with the customer to continue to validate what it is that will work as customers make the transition. And all of this requires a different type of learning. It can't just be lecture-based. It has to be very interactive. We need platforms to be able to do that. So, I think Criterion is the perfect tool because it allows us to span across all of the different responsibilities independent of role. So to say, I have an entire staged life cycle with the customer as I go from the selling to the design, to the implementation governance. And how do I do all of that within a single tool so that I have the proper handoffs and it's all based on what's real, versus what's being written and what's being documented. And Criterion offers that kind of a platform for all of our partner sellers as well as our partner post-sales implementation engineers. It's the perfect tool for that purpose. Criterion is one of my most strategic partners. Anytime that I ask for any new capabilities in terms of being able to enhance the current platform offering, I always get it. I have many different types of demo workloads that exist within the company that we offer to our sellers. However, oftentimes it's not just a demonstration asset that the field needs. And it's not just a story that they need to be able to tell in a way that's relevant to the customer or the stakeholder, depending on the outcome they're trying to drive, or the specific stakeholder interest, whether that's more security-centric or more infrastructure-centric. Oftentimes, the field needs to be able to have some kind of a learning platform. And what Criterion allows for is the ability to take demonstration offerings or even sandbox offerings, if you will, just the asset in terms of the workload that's being presented, and connect it to a platform that then packages the learning over the top. So I can take my time to get very comfortable, I can test things out in the sandbox, and then I can continue to experiment, even go off script if I would like. And there's a lot of great learning and insight that's being shared throughout that process. So it's pretty incredible. Managed service providers, they face a completely different dilemma in terms of being able to demonstrate the capabilities that are relevant to the customers with respect to their offerings. Because in many cases, the managed service provider wants to have integrated services that exist within their portfolio, and they have very specific modeling that has to be done to prove that they have a stable and validated offer. And so they're going to need very specific sandbox capabilities that also can integrate into the existing services. And those are things, if they rely on someone else to build for them, it'll never get done. So they need that flexibility to be able to work within a platform, to be able to develop the right kinds of services with the right integrations, and then be able to use those workloads with their sales teams, with their post-sales implementation teams, with their design teams, and ultimately with the customer. They can go through then proof of value motions, proof of concept motions. They can go through simulated limited scope deployments, and then they can roll into mainstream.